Imagine if you could slow down time. Imagine if you could propel yourself to lands that had been still for thousands of years. Imagine immersing yourself in solitude, exploring stunning and beautiful landscapes amidst remote and harsh wilderness, stumbling across fascinating cultures and people, walking on finely cut stones of ancient civilizations. Now imagine doing this on the saddle of a bicycle for 400 days, riding over 15,000 kilometers, burning over 4,500 calories, and generating power of 200 watts a day. Imagine you traveled through this time and distance, solo and unsupported into unknown lands amidst strangers. A vision of discovering freedom and cycling the world found seed in the cold and dreary Arctic tundra in Dead Horse, Alaska, 400 kilometers above the Arctic Circle. I longed to explore and experience the raw beauty of the remotest parts of the world and its indigenous cultures, and also discover the true purpose of my life. So I took the decision to walk away from the system and plunge into the unknown and cycle all the way from the Arctic in North America to the Andes in the South of America. I started my journey riding on the Dalton Highway, a 750-kilometer long road from the edge of the Arctic Ocean to Fairbanks in Alaska. It is considered one of the most dangerous roads in the world, as it has a population of just 60 along its entire length, has no mobile network service, and is home to black bears, wolves, and caribou. There is no settlement on the way except for two Arctic replenishment stations called Coldfoot and Yukon River Station. From Alaska, I crossed over to the Yukon, one of the last outposts of ancient wilderness in the world. My explorations in remote and spellbinding landscapes continued as I cycled down the Cassiar Highway in northern British Columbia, a road less traveled because it is in a part of Canada that is isolated and unserviced with just a few communities. It is particularly well known for its spectacular views of glaciers and an abundance of wildlife, especially bears. I had close encounters with at least 8 of them, the perfect route for an adventure cyclist. I camped on the edge of forests and gorgeous lakes at campgrounds and hostels, mostly cooking on a small stove. From Vancouver Island in Canada, I traveled across the west coast of the USA, where I cycled 2,500 kilometers along the Pacific Ocean, spending my night at pretty lighthouses, beachside campgrounds, and amazing hostels. The journey on the coastal belt took me to charming towns like Monterey, the Big Sur, thousand-year-old redwood forests, the vineyards in Sonoma County, and the vibrant cities of San Francisco and Los Angeles. From here, I made my way to the bustling city of Tijuana in Mexico. The Mexican adventure lasted 4 months, and I traveled over 4,000 kilometers of an incredible country. I cycled through its historic archaeological sites and magical, cobbled, colorful towns and villages like Tequila, Guadalajara, Oaxaca, and San Cristobal. Mexico is abundant in festive spirit, heritage, and culture, and has fabulous food. Mexico gave way to the quaint mountainous country of Guatemala. I explored Antigua, Lake Panachel, and the famous ruins of Tikal in the Guatemalan rainforests. I was now in Central America, and I savored each country that I traveled to, barely taking 3 weeks to cycle through El Salvador, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama, lands of tropical rainforests, great biodiversity, pristine lakes, earthquakes, and volcanoes. But it was Peru, the land of Pachamama, that endeared itself to my soul. I had only read about the powerful Inca Empire that rivaled the Roman Empire in size and scale. But nothing could have prepared me for the experiences I had cycling deep in the Andean mountains, to lands that sound as enchanting as they are, such as the Sacred Valley, Urubamba, Nazca, and Cusco, the ancient grand capital of the Incas at 11,000 feet in the mountains. The pinnacle of Peruvian historical glory are the ruins of Machu Picchu, situated deep in the Andean Mountains, hidden from the Spanish for hundreds of years. Cycling with over 40 kilos of gear, I moved slowly, straining each muscle on every hill and steep incline. Each day I had to combat dehydration, fatigue, and soreness. I strengthened the mind with each hill and valley I climbed, and yet reveled in the beauty of the land and its ascents with each stroke of the pedal. Traveling on endlessly long and silent roads, past ancient forests and perennial rivers and glaciers in Alaska and the Yukon, I learned to still my mind and heart. I began to understand why our ancestors worshipped nature and held the trees, the animals, and the earth in reverence. I was transported to another earth that remained untouched by time but is now greatly threatened by man's definition of progress. The sounds of breathtaking silence chiseled my thoughts and made me reflect deeply on everything. There was no protection from the cold, hard rain, the blinding sun, or chilly headwinds. My body built strength over many thousands of meters of climbing, and my brain adapted to the challenges of overcoming fatigue, finding a safe place to camp, and the recurring shortage of food and water in some of the driest and harshest of terrains. I got accustomed to the sounds of only the wind, the whir of my tires, and the screeching of a raven or a hawk in the sky. All the blogs, maps, and journals could not have prepared me to expect what I encountered and experienced each day. From the frigid cold in Canada to the icy rain in Washington State and Oregon, to the strong cold headwinds in the Baja Desert in Mexico, or the insane climbs in the Andes. I learned to survive against hidden dangers on the Dalton Highway and the Yukon. I had to face many encounters with large black bears that were foraging for blueberries in the autumn. Sleeping in my tent in the depth of the darkness of dense forests, hearing the noises in the stillness of the night, and then overcoming the fear of being so vulnerable will always remain an unforgettable memory. I mentally geared myself for the steep climbs each day. I climbed mountains in Canada, Mexico, Guatemala, Peru, gaining an elevation of 250,000 feet during the journey, which is equivalent actually to climbing Mount Everest 7 times. The journey took me from the chilly, rain-drenched west coast to sunny California and Mexico, and then thrust me into the long, inhospitable but stunning Baja Peninsula desert and the dry, arid mountain ranges of mainland Mexico to the dense tropical forests of Central America. Food was something that was on my mind many times a day, and I was always hungry. The reason being that I was burning up more than I could refuel. On some days, especially above the Arctic Circle and in the Andes, I would run out of rations and water and survive on just dry fruit, peanut butter, and slices of bread. But on other days, I was able to indulge in some delicious local food on the highway, truck shops, or rancherias in Mexico and Central America. I met numerous fellow travelers and local people on the way and made friends with many, soaking in their kindness and enjoying conversations on everything from trails in the mountains to stories about the local myths to encounters with grizzlies. I cycled in some of the wildest parts of the world with abundant wildlife. I cycled across glaciers and deserts, lakes and rivers, seas and the highest mountains and valleys. I discovered that there are remarkable similarities in the culture, the food, hunting rituals, art and pottery of the indigenous people, sparking a great interest in me in anthropology and sociology. Trudging amongst the ruins and well-preserved monuments of the Maya, the Aztec, the Zapotec, and the Inca civilizations was a manifestation of a childhood dream. From the totem poles and traditional Native American homes to the ancient monuments, I traveled to more than 25 UNESCO World Heritage Sites on my bicycle. I was fortunate to travel to the interiors of each country and stumble across festivals and celebrations being held across the plazas or centro historico of each town, or at the local church, many of them many hundreds of years old, built by Spanish missionaries in the 16th century. The time on the bicycle taught me that we need to find our grit and challenge our limiting beliefs that stop us from reaching our unimaginable potential, to challenge the status quo, fiercely protect our animals and forests, that global warming and climate change are real, and that the culture and languages of the indigenous people in the world need to be saved. I would like to conclude by quoting from my favorite song called Ripple by the Grateful Dead that I often heard on the highways when I was cycling. There is a road, no simple highway, between the dawn and the dark of night. And if you go, no one may follow. That path is for your steps alone.